Imagine an empire once feared as the roaring lion of Europe, reduced to a powerless giant, drowning in debt, rebellion, and betrayal. A world on the edge of chaos, where a single spark in the Balkans could set all of Europe ablaze. This is a story of how the Ottoman Empire's decline lit the fuse of World War I in me. Century before the First World War, Grand Vizier Ragip Pasha warned Sultan Mustafa III, "The Ottoman Empire looks like a roaring lion, but if war comes, the world will see it has no teeth, no claws." His words would echo into the 20th century, when the empire truly stood on the brink of collapse. By the early 1900s, the Ottoman Empire had lost vast territories and was clinging only to Anatolia, the Arabian Peninsula, and the Balkans. But the Balkans, fractured by nationalism and foreign meddling, were boiling over. Even Otto von Bismarck, Germany's Iron Chancellor, had predicted decades earlier. One day a great European war will break out over some foolish thing in the Balkans. He wasn't wrong. If you're interested in following this story further, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss the next part. After the disastrous Russo-Turkish War of 1877–78, the empire declared bankruptcy. Powerful European creditors seized control of Ottoman revenues, tobacco, alcohol, salt, through the Public Debt Administration. Even soldiers and civil servants went unpaid. Sultan Abdulhamid II, who took the throne in 1876, faced impossible odds. Britain, once the protector of Ottoman lands, had abandoned the empire to face Russia alone. And now Balkan nations, Greece, Serbia, and Bulgaria, were all hungry for Ottoman territory. Abdulhamid tried to strengthen the army, relying heavily on German advisors like Colmar von der Goltz, and even achieved a rare victory over Greece in 1897. But beneath the surface, corruption, paranoia, and a lack of real combat experience left the military dangerously weak. Meanwhile, nationalist uprisings in Macedonia and Armenia multiplied. Unable to crush them effectively, the empire turned into a patchwork of instability. Out of this chaos emerged a new force, the Committee of Union and Progress, or the Young Turks. Founded by young military students in 1889, the cup spread quickly among officers frustrated by Abdulhamid's autocracy. By 1908, the empire faced an even greater threat. European powers discussing reforms in Macedonia, raising fears that Ottoman lands would be carved apart. Cup officers acted. Led by figures like Ahmed Niazi Bey, they launched armed uprisings, assassinations, and propaganda campaigns. Under immense pressure, Abdulhamid II finally reinstated the long-suspended Constitution of 1876. Crowds filled the streets in joy. After 33 years of autocracy, the empire had constitutional rule again. But this fragile hope would soon shatter. Just months later, Austria-Hungary dropped a bombshell. It annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina outright, sparking outrage in Serbia and panic across Europe. Serbian leaders demanded war, Russia protested, and Germany warned of escalation. Europe teetered on the edge, but war was narrowly avoided when Russia and Serbia backed down. At the same time, Bulgaria declared full independence, while Crete announced union with Greece. Within a single year, the Ottomans had lost 3 major territories. The blame fell squarely on the CUP. Rebellions erupted in Istanbul, and Abdulhamid was deposed in 1909, replaced by Sultan Mehmed V. In reality, power shifted away from the throne, towards the parliament and the Unionists. As if the empire's wounds weren't deep enough, Italy saw its chance. In 1911, it invaded Ottoman North Africa, Tripolitania and Cyrenaica. The Ottomans, overstretched and under-equipped, struggled to defend the provinces. Local resistance, aided by volunteer officers like Enver Bey and Mustafa Kemal, slowed the Italians but could not stop them. By 1912, Italy had also seized the Dodecanese Islands in the Aegean. The empire was reeling, but worse was yet to come. Sensing weakness, the Balkan states moved in. Serbia and Bulgaria signed an alliance in 1912, soon joined by Greece and Montenegro. Together, they formed the Balkan League, united not by trust, but by their common ambition to drive the Ottomans out of Europe. Their treaties said little about how conquered lands would be divided, a dangerous silence that foreshadowed future conflicts. But for now, their eyes were fixed on Ottoman Macedonia. The Ottomans, still fighting in Libya and Yemen, were utterly unprepared. Experienced soldiers were gone, weapons remained locked in depots, and mobilization was chaotic. The empire still imagined a one-front war, not a coordinated attack by all four Balkan states. On October 8, 1912, Montenegro struck first. Within days, the entire Balkan League declared war. The Ottoman armies collapsed almost immediately. At Kumanovo, Serbian forces smashed the Ottoman Western Army. At Luli-Burgas, the Bulgarians drove the Ottomans back towards Miyuri, Thrace. Thessaloniki surrendered to Greece without a fight. City after city fell. Macedonia, long seen as a second homeland for the Turks, was slipping away. By November, the Bulgarians advanced within striking distance of Istanbul itself. Only at the Battle of Satalka did the Ottomans manage to halt them, saving their capital. The Balkan War was catastrophic. In just a few months, the empire lost nearly all of its European territories. Millions were displaced, thousands killed, and the myth of Ottoman strength was shattered. Even as the war ended in late 1912, new tensions were already brewing, this time among the Balkan allies themselves. Their rivalry over Macedonia would explode into the Second Balkan War, further destabilizing the region. And all the while, Europe's great powers were watching. Russia backing Serbia, Austria, Hungary determined to block them, Germany seeking influence over the Ottomans, and Britain trying to keep the balance. The Balkans had become the powder keg of Europe. One spark, and the world would be at war. The Ottoman Empire's fall was not just its own tragedy. It was the prelude to something far greater. A chain of crises, rebellions, and betrayals that set the stage for the assassination in Sarajevo and the war that would engulf the world. This was the countdown to 1914, and the fuse was burning fast. Before we finish, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you'll be ready for the next episode, where we uncover the spark that finally ignited World War I.